So this is how you can scale your sales team by eliminating inefficiencies and allowing your sales reps to reclaim 54.2% of their day. So if you want to scale your sales team, right, there's probably some point of failure that has been standing in the way of you so that you haven't been able to do it. Otherwise, you would have already done it, right? But luckily, it's most likely not your fault that you haven't been able to scale it yet. There just hasn't been the appropriate mechanism in place for you to scale it. So if you look at what the traditional points of failure are in scaling a sales team, we can see that the first one is inefficient time use. And how can you solve this? Well, the most logical way to solve this is if you had a hands-off system that works all hours, that doesn't rest, that doesn't take lunch breaks, etc. Right? So when I say inefficient time use, what do I mean by that? Well, this is a study conducted by Salesforce based on the data that they have about their customers. I mean, they're the biggest CRM provider by far. And they conducted a study back in the end of 2022 that looked at how sales reps spend their time during an average week. And as you can see, only 28% of their time is spent selling. That means most of the rest of the time is spent on inefficient activities that do not contribute to the scale of the sales team, right? They don't grow the sales team by doing administrative tasks. What if you could automate all of that by having a hands-off system that works all hours? Another point of failure is that reps do not follow proven scripts. And the easiest mechanism for that is a model or a system that doesn't even know how to go off script, that does not have the ability to go off script. And that means that the proven script that you have developed over time actually gets said to the prospects, right? Another point of failure that really goes together with first is administrative load. Sales reps often spend a lot of their day doing pointless administrative work because they just don't have either enough capital or the resources to hire assistants or someone else or a system built to take the administrative load off their hands. And the mechanism to solve that, well, obviously, is some sort of automation or some sort of system that removes the unnecessary activities. Another problem is a lack of leads that leads to a lack of volume. Easy solution, get more leads, right? How do you do that? Well, leads and data can be very expensive, but if you work with us, we will give you access to our own proprietary database of 500 million B2B contacts. I'll get to this in a second of how exactly we use that to guarantee massive sales volume for you. Another point, the main point why sales teams are hard to scale, that you cannot really scale people. Hiring is expensive, keeping them is expensive. Sales reps leave, they don't want to stay appointment setters or SDRs for very long. And well, if you think about it logically, you can solve this problem instantly by completely eliminating the need to hire. If you can service more sales and scale at the click of a button, then there's literally nothing standing in the way of scaling your sales team. Another problem, low booking rates and suboptimal assets. Low booking rates can be solved by introducing a multi-channel approach. That means that cold calls aren't actually cold, they have some sort of contact with your company before. I mean, think about your own career. When have you ever really bought something off of a cold call? Pretty rarely, I guess, right? And then, of course, there are suboptimal assets. There just might not be a proven script that actually gets customers to buy. And well, if you want to solve this, you would obviously want to look at what's been the best performer. And what if you could do that based on data from over 1 million interactions? From that, you probably could put together a pretty good sales script, right? So, now that we know every point of failure that stands in the way of scaling sales teams, and also every mechanism that solves those, how can you do that? Well, we actually help our clients solve every single one of these by using a fairly simple system. It consists of 3 main phases. The first one, that's day one after we sign the contract, is we have a clarity call. We get to know everything we need to about your business, any special cases that we need to account for, etc., right? Then we define your ICP based on that information, and we start fine-tuning your assets. Based on the data we have from all these interactions, we want to fine-tune your sales script because, well, if you're an insurance agency, you will be selling with a very different script than, let's say, some manufacturing company or an enterprise cybersecurity company, right? You don't go with the same script, you don't go with the same approach. And this is where we fine-tune, based on this data, the best script for you. And then we create the agent that actually does all of this automatically, that helps to automate 54.2% of their day by eliminating some of the unnecessary activities here. And then from day 2 to day 14, this is where we do everything for you. We call this the systems creation phase. This consists of 4 parts. The data sourcing. Remember I talked about the 500 million contact database. This is where we put that to use. Based on the ICP we defined, we source the data, we do trigger research, basically buying signals. If someone just received funding, if they made a key hire, or if they're even currently hiring for a position that your product can solve, whatever your specific triggers are, we can find them. And then based on that, we segment them into lists. The second part is the outbound infrastructure that allows you to get these multi-channel campaigns and make sure that no call is ever a cold call. For this, we set up a bunch of domains, emails, DNSs, basically everything you need to scale your outbound campaigns. And then we start testing them. We make sure that all of these work, that they're set up properly, there are no oversights anywhere. And then we start testing them with a very small sample size of real prospects. And once the positive responses start coming in, we start ramping them up. And the final 2 parts are the admin automations and the model training. The model training follows a similar flow to the outbound infrastructure, but a bit differently. Since we already fine-tuned the assets, we give this to the model along with all the other information about your company to make sure that it sounds, first of all, human. Second of all, it knows the script and it doesn't go off script. That it knows the main objections that you have, that you get, and knows how to handle them, and knows any additional information about your company that could be useful for it in a sales call. And then we start testing it to make sure that everything you just mentioned actually is true. And then we slowly start ramping this up as well by using these very same lists that we generated in the data sourcing part. And finally, the admin automations, where we go and automate basically everything from prioritizing leads to admin tasks, entering customer information, and so that your salespeople can spend all of their day here in this 10%. That they can only spend their time selling and never have to do anything else that is more inefficient. And once all of this comes together, this is where we hand it off to you. The system is ramped up, and we will provide you continuous support for 2 months after this to make sure that this actually brings you results and that it works as it is supposed to. And so what does the system look like when it's ramped? Well, this is a very, very big oversimplification, especially this part. But it sends out the first contact, updates the CRM with exactly what happened, what was the email sequence that it sent. If it got a response, what was the response? If it led to a booked call, then it's automatically gives it to your best sales rep or the sales rep that's available. If they don't book a call, then this model calls them, tries to again get them on a call, and the transcript of that call is always put into your CRM along with the recording of it, so that every piece of data that you have is always at your disposal. And then if they still don't book a call, they move into a nurture sequence that lasts for a year. We build this out for you, and your leads will get consistently engaged with by this system over the course of a year, and every action that it takes is updated in your CRM, and the sequence only ends if they either book a call or they tell you to basically fuck off, right? So a quick recap. First, we get all the information we need. Then we build out this system for you. You can do it completely hands off, and then we give it over to you. And when we give it over to you, it already works. The only thing you have to do is keep an eye on it. If any problems arise, we will fix them. We will help you fix them, and we will constantly be there. Once a week, we will have a support call where we go over all the stats of the system and give our suggestions on where it could be better. Right? So now, do you see, if you solve every mechanism here, how you can overcome all these points of failure and scale your sales team? If yes, awesome. Down below is a link where you can book a call with me or one of my team members, and we can look at how this system would look like for you. Thanks again for watching this. I really appreciate that you gave me your time, that you gave me your attention, and I really sincerely hope to be speaking with you on a call very, very soon. Alright, thanks a lot. Bye bye.